Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the How to Film Weddings podcast. My name is Nick Miller, and today we are diverting from our norm, diverting from the usual, and I am recording a 100% solo podcast. John had a lot of things that he needed to get done and get going before the holiday season, and I was like, buddy, you take the day off, and I am going to record here and talk about something that I like to talk about, something I like to do, and that is editing. So today's topic is how to edit faster. I know with it being the holiday season and getting into the new year, there are so many people that are just, their backlog is big and they want to get through it as fast as possible. And so today I want to talk about things that I am doing, things that I am thinking about to help me edit faster. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before I jump into that, I want to remind you about our special live event that we are doing as we drop this tomorrow night. That's Tuesday, December 19th at 7 p.m. We are doing a live discussion, a live webinar, a live workshop, a live event where we are going to be talking all about Mastermind 2024. If Mastermind is something that you are interested in, if you've heard about it or you've heard other people talk about it or you've seen us post on our stories or something, if you are interested in Mastermind in 2024, I want you to head over to howtofilmweddings.com/live. There you can register for the event and get notified whenever it is that we start, which will be at 7 p.m. on December 19th. We're going to talk about who it's for, who it's not for, our curriculum. We're going to have some past students on. We might even have an educator or two on, and there's a chance for some giveaways and some really cool stuff that we are really excited about. John and I have been getting some feedback from our past students, and one of the things that we're doing is we're actually limiting the number of spaces this year. So if you are interested in Mastermind, you definitely want to come to this live webinar and check everything out. Again, it's just for information. We're not going to make you buy or anything like that. We just want to give you the information about what Mastermind is, who it is for, who it's not for, the curriculum. Lay it all out there and answer any questions that you might have about Mastermind. Also, you have 1 day left. If you want to fill out our survey, we are giving away a Sony FX30. That URL is howtofilmweddings.com/survey. We just want to know better how we as How to Film Weddings can serve you and the wedding film industry. So we have some questions about you and your business and what you're looking forward to and what you want to hear from us. Those types of questions, and we're not above bribing. So that's right. If you fill out the survey, you will be entered to win a Sony FX30. You don't need to be in the United States to enter to win, and we are going to be announcing the winner to that during our live event on December 19th. So those two links, howtofilmweddings.com/survey and howtofilmweddings.com/live. That's a lot of info, a lot of different places we want you to go right here at the top of this episode. So excited about the things coming up with How to Film Weddings. But right now, we're going to jump into how to edit faster. What are some practical things that you can do to edit faster? And the first response might be, well, I just need to purchase a brand new computer. And maybe you do. Maybe you are working on a 2014 something that is really, really old and really, really slow, and it just can't keep up with all the 4K or 8K footage that you're producing. But no, that's not what I'm talking to you about. I'm not going to say that you should buy a new computer, even though you might need to, but that's not what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to talk about some practical things that you can do to help speed up your workflow whenever it comes time to editing. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is have some sort of system set in place for how you organize your footage, both on your computer, on a hard drive, and then within your editing program. I edit in Adobe Premiere, and I know lots of people out there are Final Cut or DaVinci, and they're all going to be different, but this principle is still the same. Set everything up so that every single project is exactly the same. Make a folder for your footage and your audio and your music and the assets that you might use. Make another folder or a timeline for, your ceremony or your toasts. Have all of these things very, very organized so that you know and understand where things are and how they are going to be laid out within your editor. It can slow you down whenever you don't set things up properly, so then it's hard to find the thing that you are looking for. So have a system in place so that you can, find the footage, find the shots, find the stuff that you're looking for, find the assets that you need. Have a system in place so that you can do that very, very easily. The next thing that I want to talk about is consider using proxies while you edit. Now, I have recently started recording proxies in my Sony FX3 and Sony A7S III so that I can just upload those and link those directly in Premiere after I get everything uploaded. All a proxy file is, in case you don't know, is it is a smaller megabyte file. It doesn't have as much information that your editor, your editing program will actually pull that footage to edit from so that it doesn't slow down your computer. So instead of having a massive 100 megabyte file that's a 3-second clip on your Sony A7S III, it pulls the 15 megabyte clip that looks pretty close. The color is pretty close, but it makes it so that you can edit a lot faster. Again, one of the nice things about the Sony cameras is that you can create proxies internally so that you don't need to do something extra. If your camera, and I'm not sure what cameras do and don't have that feature, if your camera doesn't do that, you can fairly easily create proxies from within your editor. But the downside to that, I just recently did that because I filmed a wedding. I didn't have my proxy settings set correctly how I wanted to, and so I had to make them after the fact. The issue is it can take quite a while, especially if you have lots and lots of clips. I know that we had, 500 gigabytes of footage from 5 different days of shooting and a whole bunch of different stuff, and it took quite a long time, hours, to make those proxy files. But after it was finished, then I was able to edit in there correctly and quickly and speedily, and it really didn't bog down my computer at all. So I highly recommend proxies, and it should be as a part of your system to help speed up your editing. Again, if your camera can do it internally, highly recommend that, but you can do it in post. It just is going to take time. Most people that I know that create proxies are going to have that go overnight and make those and then start editing the next day. So having some sort of system, creating some proxies, those two things are going to be very, very helpful for you. Now, one thing I will say is you should not try to color correct or color grade your proxy footage. Because the image, it's a low res image, so it's not going to look as nice. And so it may change the color, might shift the color just a little bit. So I would recommend color grading the actual footage, not the proxy version, but you can use, at least in Adobe Premiere, you can turn that on and off. So you can go back and forth between the proxy or the full footage. Another thing that I would recommend, we here at How to Film Weddings love MusicBed. One of the great things about MusicBed is there's an app. They have a great online platform that you can listen to the music and stuff. And we recommend listening to music often. Sometimes, just having it on, hitting a playlist and letting it go, and then saving songs whenever you think that this might be good for a wedding video. Maybe you don't have one in mind, but it could be good for a wedding video. Maybe write some notes. That is an option there that you can do whenever you save a song. But we do that, and then we're also sending out a questionnaire about 3 months before the wedding, asking them, what music do you like? What music do you not like? So that we can get a really good understanding and know the types of music that the couple is interested in. And we don't make those final selections until after the wedding day, just because the couple might be into this type of music, but their wedding day wasn't that type of wedding. And so we have to go and find something else. However, it's a good starting point. We can spend hours and hours and days looking for music. And if you are constantly doing it, if you're doing it a lot, leaving yourself really good notes within a program like MusicBed, within the app, in their online system, it will help you speed up that editing process in finding the perfect song. So we've talked about systems and proxies and how we go about music. Oh, one thing I will add about music is my wife, she has gone through and listened to music, and she actually made playlists of different genres, or upbeat wedding, emotional wedding, this type of music that she has really, really liked, so that whenever we have a wedding, we're like, hey, I really like, it needs to be an upbeat cold open, something like that. Now I can go to that folder and start there. So I have a good starting spot of music that we've already listened to, that we already said, yes, this could potentially work for film. That has really, really helped us speed up the editing and get into the edit a little bit faster. So the next thing I want to talk about is culling your footage or making selects. All this is you're actually going through and watching every single clip in your timeline. If you can learn hotkeys, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about those here in a second. If you can learn the hotkeys and try not to touch your mouse as much as possible, that is going to speed that up. But you click on every single clip, and in Adobe Premiere, you set an in point with I and an out point with O, and then I can hit either the comma or the period button, and it will take that clip, that select that I have made, and put it in a timeline. So now I'm going through all of my footage, absolutely all of my footage, cutting out the bad stuff, setting in and out points, and then putting it in a timeline. So here is all of my usable footage. Call it for culling. I know that that's what photographers use. Selects is what a lot of video people use. But taking that, so now you can go to that timeline and say, this is all of the footage that I have. This is all the usable stuff that I would potentially like to put in my film. I'd actually take it one step further than this. After I cull it, then I go and I have made a color cheat sheet, if you want to think of it that way. And I know that the details are this color. Ceremony decor and ceremony stuff is this color. Bride prep is this. Groom prep is this. And so I color code everything. And then I will actually rearrange it so that all of the footage from all of my different cameras are color coded together. So all of the getting ready stuff from my wife's camera, from my camera, and if we use our Ronin camera, those are all going to be put together so that we can quickly and easily scrub through that and find the footage that we are looking for getting ready, or reception details, or portraits, whatever it may be. That really helps speed it up just so we can find it. I think something that has slowed me down, one of the reasons why, let me rephrase that. One of the reasons why teaser trailers that are really hype take me so much longer to edit is because I'm picking and choosing and kind of cherry picking the clips that I have. I want to get it out quick, so I'm just looking for them very, very quickly. And I haven't culled through everything. I haven't gone through everything. So I'm having a tough time finding the exact clips that I want to, because they're all in just this big, big bin. So going through, culling, making selects has helped speed it up. Another thing that you could do is hire a service like Wedding Post House to go through your footage and cull it, make selects. They will sync up your ceremony. They will sync up your toasts. They will sync up everything that needs to be synced up, and then get your project file back to you. And it's all organized. It's all laid out by camera, so you can find that footage. That's something that can save you time. I know whenever I go through and I cull my footage, it takes me, 5 hours or so, half a day, something like that, to go through everything and get everything how I want it to. So if you want to use a service like Wedding Post House, you can do that, and they will do that. And it's usually a quick turnaround, about a week. You can find more information at howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing. Great resource for you there. Another thing that I recently started doing after I got a bigger monitor, and I'm on a 27-inch screen whenever I edit primarily, is I will do what is called stacking your timelines. And on my, in Adobe Premiere, I will have my creative edit on the bottom, and then I will have my cold footage or my selects on a timeline in the middle, and then I will have my preview window up top. And what I'm now able to do is I don't have to click between screens anymore. I can just literally take the clip and drag it from my cold footage timeline that I know that it's going to work, and just drag it down onto my creative edit timeline. That saves me a lot of times. Anytime you do a mouse click, it's going to waste a little bit of time. And while, yes, it might take you 0.05 seconds to do a mouse click, but you repeat that over and over and over again, and how much time is that going to waste whenever you are editing in there? Speaking of time wasted, the next step that I will recommend is to set a timer, whether on your phone or maybe get a little clock or something on your desk, and turn off your Wi-Fi on your computer, or set it on Do Not Disturb, turn off notifications if you need to let people know that you're going to edit it, and then edit for, put it for 30 minutes or 45 minutes in some time frame that you're like, I can work really hard for this little bit. And then you can go give yourself a break. I know that I got in this terrible habit a long time ago whenever I would add a plugin like Warp Stabilizer, and it would take 3, 5, 10 seconds for it to warp stabilize. I'd pop over to Facebook and see what was going on, or I'd get on my phone on Instagram while it was rendering, and I ended up wasting 5 or 10 minutes every time I would add Warp Stabilizer because I was distracted by doing something else. And so setting up some parameters, I'm going to edit. I have my clock there for 45 minutes. And when that is done, then I can take a 5-minute break and I can check my socials, or I can do something else, or I can walk away or something like that. So getting rid of as many distractions as possible, turning off those notifications, turning off notifications, turning off Wi-Fi is going to help you speed up your editing time because you're just not distracted. Really good thing. The next thing I want to recommend that you do is to create hotkeys. In a Premiere, and I know Final Cut and DaVinci, they're all similar. You can do different things. But if you have to, click buttons 2 or 3 times to get one action to happen, then you should really consider setting up a hotkey. One of the hotkeys that I have set up is a ripple delete on my timeline, and I have it so I just click a certain section and then I hit the Z key, and it will take my timeline and cut out that break, and then everything will come together so that there is no gap. I use that one quite often. The other one that I created is we're not using slow motion very much anymore in our films, but we are still using it. And so what I like to do is I made S on my keyboard be the one that brings up speed. And there wasn't a hotkey I could figure out how to actually take the speed and then make it so it was the correct speed whenever I wanted to slow it down. I know that might not make sense, but it brings up the window where I can then manually enter in what I want that speed to be. And it's just one button instead of doing a control click and then scrolling down, picking speed. Anything that you can do to speed up your editing process where you only have to hit one key rather than make several mouse clicks, it's going to speed up your editing time. So, just look into the hotkeys, and maybe you're not using those. Maybe you're just doing mouse clicks for everything, and you're going up to edit and you're doing this and you're changing, things while you are in there editing. Look up hotkeys, figure out the things that you are trying to do. If you are doing the same thing over and over again, multiple times in edit, I would recommend a hotkey. This also leads into the last thing I want to talk about to speed it up, and that is going to be presets. Now, one of the things that I have in my in the editing section, is I have a little folder that it says, things I use all the time, and in there is like Warp Stabilizer or Cross Dissolve or Constant Gain, effects that I am using often. Multiple times. And I move all of those into an effects folder that are there for me that I can just drag and drop onto my timeline whenever I need them, and I don't have to go look and search for them. If you have certain effects that you are using more than 2 or 3 times for every single edit, you should make a folder in your effects window of things that you use constantly, things that you use all of the time, so that you can quickly drag and drop those into your timeline and you don't have to search for them over and over again. The last thing with the presets that I recommend is setting up some sort of export setting preset. So instead of having to go in and clicking and making sure that it's in 4K and that the bit rate is at a certain spot and that the audio is exporting a certain way, make a preset so that whenever you go to export your film, you just click one button, hit OK, and then it exports and it goes. These time-saving things, these presets, these hotkeys, they don't save you necessarily a lot of time within the edit whenever you use them, right? We're talking like fraction of a second or something like that. But if you do this thing that takes a second 60 times, that's a minute. And then a minute over a 30-minute time period, it's just compounding and compounding and compounding. And so if you can figure out things to be more efficient, to edit quicker, this is going to help you cut down the amount of time that you are using. So again, I know I kind of blew through all of these really quick, but the things that I outlined were: 1, have a system in place so that everything is organized so that you know where everything is and so you can find it whenever you need it. Consider using proxies, especially if you either A, have a slower computer, B, are using 4K footage, or maybe you have a fast computer. I know I do. I have a 2022 MacBook M1, 2, I don't know what it is, but it's a fast computer, but still 4K footage, especially on like ceremonies. Whenever I have multiple files going at the same time, it can slow it down and it can bog it down a little bit. Using proxies totally eliminates that. Look into proxies. You should consider putting those together. Sending out a questionnaire, learning about their couple's music. Number 3, start listening to MusicBed or whatever music licensing site that you listen to, and just create folders and start organizing those. And hey, I think that we could use this song in this moment or a moment like this. So it has a good starting off point for you so that you're not just at 0 every single time whenever you come to edit. Doing something to cull through your footage, make selects, then organize that into colors so that you can know what you're looking for whenever you're going through all of your footage, and know that this color is bride prep, that color is groom prep, and so on and so forth. Also consider using a service like Wedding Post House so that they will cull everything for you. Next, timeline stacking. Saves time with the edit so you're not clicking between screens. Turn off notifications, Wi-Fi, put stuff on Do Not Disturb, set a timer, and give yourself some constraint while editing. That is going to help you stay focused so that you're not wasting a lot of time in the edit. Using hotkeys. And whether you're using the ones that are built into Premiere, Final Cut, DaVinci, whatever software that you use, or setting up custom hotkeys so that you can edit more efficiently and not move your hands off of your keyboard. That's going to help you. And then last is having some sort of presets with, putting them in an effects bin, and also having export presets, things that you are going to use over and over again. Man, I hope that this information was helpful for you. I know that if you apply these things to your business whenever you're starting to edit, it will speed things up and it will help you edit faster. Before we hop off of here, I do want to mention tomorrow night, as we're dropping this on December 19th at 7 p.m., we will be having our live online event where we're talking all about Mastermind, giving you all the information, everything that you need to know about it. So if you would like to check that out, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/live, register for the event, and we'll get you more information about that. And be sure, and you will be notified whenever it is that we go live for that. Last, head over to howtofilmweddings.com/survey if you would like to win a Sony FX30. We're just getting some information from you about the industry, about your business, so that we can serve you better in the future. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I hope it was helpful, and I hope that you will be able to apply these things to your editing workflow. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, we will see ya.
If you are like most wedding filmmakers, you are constantly fighting against being completely overwhelmed from your backlog. We get it, and that is why we are so excited to bring you howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing, a brand new place for you to find some of the best editors on the planet to help you get out from under the weight of your backlog. And the best part is we have personally vetted these companies to ensure that you aren't wasting your time finding editors. Whether you are looking for full-blown editors like Wedditor or brideandgroom.video, or if you're just needing someone to cull your films like Wedding Post House, we have a solution for you. So head over to howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing to check out our curated list of outsourcing experts today. That's howtofilmweddings.com/outsourcing.